Welcome, beloved ones, dear souls, to
Hello.
our powerful masterclass, Overcoming Self-Sabotage. We're so grateful that you chose to be here on a Sunday today with us and that you're choosing your growth, you're choosing yourself. I am Claudia,
And I'm Adam.
and together we are the co-founders of Purple Eagle Tribe.
Yeah.
And we are very passionate about guiding people through deep transformational journeys rooted in transpersonal psychology and psychosynthesis to help you integrate all parts of yourself so that you can live with clarity, with love, and courage. And so in today's masterclass, that we're very excited to be sharing with all of you, Overcoming Self-Sabotage, why you get stuck even when you know better, and how to break free with confidence. We're going to explore why self-sabotage really happens and how to break free, and not by force, but you're going to learn more compassionate ways to move through. So by the end of this class, you'll have practical tools, deep insights that you can start using immediately to move forward.
Yep. Probably before the class even finishes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For sure. So that you can move with more clarity, more inner power. And so we're so deeply, deeply honored that, again, you've chosen to be here. And we're very excited to dive in. But before we do that, Adam is going to guide us through a grounding and centering meditation so that we can get in the right headspace, heart space to dive into the
Frequency,
class.
space, all the things. So many of you have been on calls with us before, but those of you who haven't, what we do is when we tune in on this type of work within the transpersonal psychology, which is really where our framework we're working with, we talk about and we do a tuning in. And what that allows is to sort of tune out and go inward just a bit to quiet the mind and allow there to be some tuning into our breath. And so it's what it is, and essentially is a short meditation. There's nothing you really need to do other than to find comfort wherever you are. If you're driving, of course, don't close your eyes, and we'll be guiding you through a step by step. So as you are ready, I invite you to, actually, let me share my screen really quick with sound. Invite you to find comfort with wherever you're sitting. If you're able to, preferably have a straight spine and not be so slumped over. And what we're going to do, and again, if you have any injuries or recent surgeries, just be mindful of what you're able to do right now. There goes Alex laying down. So what we're going to do, laying down is totally welcome as well. Just don't fall asleep, I hope. So what we're going to do now, before we listen in and close our eyes, we're going to just give ourselves a moment, and we're going to lift our shoulders up to our ears, and we're going to feel the constriction of all the tension of the muscles between our shoulders and our elbows, our ears. And we're just going to hold that all together, and we're going to make our two balls that are fists up to our chin, and we're just going to like hold it all in and just be like, oh yeah, give it all in. And then we're going to go, and we're going to let it go. Woo! Feel the feelings already. And then we're going to allow that relaxation and that nectar of that release to drip down from the top of our head as we gently, as you feel comfortable, do so, allow your eyes to come to close in this moment. And as your eyes come to close, just take a nice gentle breath in through your nose. And a sigh on the exhale. Gentle inhale again. And a very soft exhale. Now bring into your mind's eye that space right between your eyebrows. The color blue. Just focus on this deep, deep healing color blue right in your third eye, right between your eyebrows. And as you do so, Let's take another moment to tune into what your body feels like and what your breath is doing, letting your body soften a little bit more. As your body softens, just allow your breath to do what it does, and feel your body connecting to the surface that you're sitting on or you're laying on. Feel all those connection points of your glutes, your feet, your back. Feel the weight of your body being supported. If you're clenching your jaw a little bit, just allow your teeth to separate just a little bit and the tongue to the roof of your mouth, signaling to your body that it's okay to just be. And on your next natural inhale, focus and feel the inhale coming into your heart, like you're breathing into your heart. When you exhale, just allow whatever is in there just to travel out. Anything that no longer serves, let that exhale carry away. Any polish the diamond of your heart, if you will, allowing that dust to just blow away. And inhaling into our heart with gratitude, and exhaling love. Now we can ask ourselves silently, what is my intention for today's masterclass? What am I here for? What does my heart desire for this next 90 minutes? Maybe you're seeking clarity, maybe you're seeking healing, freedom, self-compassion or compassion for others. Or maybe just to simply be here and learn, be the observer, the childlike mind, be willing to be surprised. And now just take a moment to name whatever that intention is in a very simple way and carry that intention for you and you alone into your heart. You can even put your hands on your heart as you lock in what that intention is for you today in your heart. It was like you're planting a seed that will grow for the rest of your life and keep unfolding in each moment. And as you breathe into that intention, know that it is heard. It's carried on the wings of the universe. You're here for a reason today, and trust that you will need what arises for you in this space. Whatever that is for you to carry with you forward on your journey. And giving thanks for that intention, giving thanks to yourself, giving thanks to all that it took for us to be here together, taking a deep, deep, deep inhale of love. And exhale one more time together. As you're ready, just gently, gently, gently begin to come back into your body, into your toes and your fingers and your nose. And you can let your eyes gently open, coming back into the room together. Thank you, thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, baby.
Well, my pleasure. Hope it served.
Yes. And if you are in a space through the different teachings and programs, we you'll know we love sharing meditations and guiding meditations. And
It's a thing.
yeah,
Definitely
it's
a
so
thing.
healing. That was really beautiful. Yay, so welcome back everyone again. We are ready to get started. So I'm gonna just give you a little bit of an idea of what today has in store. We're gonna go about an hour of class. So we're gonna get down and break down self-sabotage and go through the different strategies to support you in breaking free. And then we're going to share an opportunity of how you can work deeper with us, how you can go deeper in the work, how you can have opportunities to be able to experience more of the framework. And then I'm going to guide you through a closing, integrating meditation that's going to help putting everything that we went over through the class together. So you definitely want to stay for that. And then we're going to open up for Q&A. For any questions, any comments from the class as we go through different processes, you'll have an opportunity to then share and we can have a conversation together at the end. How does that sound for everyone?
Yay.
Yay, awesome. So I'm gonna,
Yeah, and I just want to take a moment and first acknowledge and share everyone being here on a Sunday with so much gratitude. Okay, 1 second. What do I need to do there?
just stop sharing.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so that I can share.
And I stopped sharing how. Sorry, everybody.
See. Okay, that's fine actually. When I start sharing, it disconnects.
There is no
Right,
stop share
there you
on
go.
Zoom, everybody. It's all when you start sharing. Okay, cool. So I was saying, thank you for being here on a Sunday. We assure you that you will have some
Here, actually,
tools
wait a minute.
to implement immediately. Really, truly. I mean, even when we did this class on Tuesday this past week, even myself was like, wow, I can integrate what came up for me because we're over here practicing well with you, alongside of you. So it's quite amazing. And this is just one page out of the framework that we work within, but it's one of the ones that we felt was calling for what's going on in the collective in this time.
Yep. Exactly. So let's get started. I know all of you are ready to get right into it. So first of all, meet your guides, right? Who are we and why learn from us? We're transpersonal guides, coaches, and also sacred facilitators. And we don't really teach from a pedestal, right? We teach from experience. We too have walked through self-sabotage, burnout, avoidance, and self-doubt.
Victim,
And
judgment, so on and so forth.
through the framework of psychosynthesis, we've been able to help over thousands through that same process of navigating their inner challenges and their inner patterns. And so we founded Purple Ego Tribe back in 2019 with the intention of creating a conscious community and a sacred space for growth, for healing, for awakening, for transformation, and also for self-discovery. And since then, we've guided individuals, we've guided couples, we guide groups through deep transformation and healing experiences and workshops, and we weave modern psychology with ancient spiritual wisdom. And so our mission is to bring this work and to help others remember who they are, reconnect to their true essence, overcome challenges, and be able to align with their higher purpose and live a life of joy, of freedom, of self-expression. And so we are super excited that we've created our 13-month transpersonal journey called The Alchemy of Self, which you'll learn a little bit more about that just later on, and guiding individuals on their path to wholeness, which is, again, what we're so passionate about.
Yeah, one of the callings that has been so true on my heart and our hearts is really anchoring in what is our vision for the world. And Claudia just mentioned for all of us to remember who we are. And what does that mean? You know, it's like whenever there is a something of self-sabotage, which we'll get into, that's at play, or choices that have been made up to a certain point, that those choices may actually be from a part of self that wants to sabotage or keep safe, perceived safety, and ultimately that unfolding of the consistent reminder of the choices that have been made over the past, which for me, and in our context, there's really no past. It's all happening right here, right now. But the experiences that in this human form we carry with us from the past can have things show up that remind us over and over and over where we are choosing something from something other than wholeness. And so when Claudia mentioned remembering who we are and wholeness and the alchemy of self, like alchemizing would be turning shadow into light or lead into gold. And that's really what the inner context or inner work that's happening in this type of framework is, where there are these parts of self that have made choices or are making choices. And we think that they're making choices from wholeness, from clarity, from purpose, or whatever it may be. And then there just seems to be like a consistent occurrence that reminds us over and over and over again, from a place of stress or fear or whatever's coming up, that there's a choice that it's been made, that it must have been chosen from something other than wholeness. So in that self-sabotage space, sometimes we're making choices from self-sabotage, and we're going to start to illuminate a little bit today. So in the vision of, for all of us to remember who we are, it's really taking time to dive into classes like this, where we can look at what part of ourselves is choosing from separation from fellow brother and sister, from separation from our own heart's purpose, from separation from source.
Yeah. And so today, in today's class, you'll get a peek and an opportunity to experience those parts, connect with those parts of yourself, and also learn a little more and go deeper with the framework.
Yes.
So let's go right into it. What we're covering today. So first of all, why smart, self-aware people like you still sabotage, right? You know what to do.
Why would we do that? Why are we doing that when we have all the tools?
Yet you're still allowing those parts of you to take over. Okay? We're going to go through how subconscious parts of you may be driving stuckness, right? Another aspect of that self-sabotage and procrastination.
Or choosing stuckness.
Yep. The 3 key roots of self-sabotage from the perspective of psychosynthesis, and also will guide you through the path from fragmentation into empowered action. And finally, we'll share a special invitation how to work deeper with us. So you've heard us mention psychosynthesis. This is the framework that we work with. And so throughout the class and throughout our work, we talk about psychosynthesis. So what is it? Psychosynthesis is a form of transpersonal psychology that was developed by Roberto Assagioli, and it focuses on the integration of all aspects of the self, conscious and unconscious, into a harmonious or a whole person. So when I talk about wholeness, and Adam was talking about wholeness, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to integrate all those parts right into a harmonious self, capital S. So unlike traditional psychology, which often addresses the mind's fragmentations and dysfunctions, psychosynthesis takes a holistic approach, aiming for self-realization, for balance and alignment with higher values, and the integration of the mind, body, and the soul. So psychosynthesis sees you not as, doesn't see you as your problems, right? But sees you as a whole being that has vast potential for healing, growth, and also self-realization. And so this is one of the frameworks. Actually, I wanted to just share a quick story that I've been wanting to be, I guess I always knew I wanted to be a coach. And for a long time, I was waiting for the right program, right? The right framework. There are thousands of coaching programs out there. And when we came across this work of psychosynthesis, it hit all the chords. So a little bit of my background is graphic design. I come from the digital marketing space. And so that's my first love. But my second love is psychology. And so to be able to find a coaching program that is based on psychology, but not just any psychology, but transpersonal, which I'll define in just a moment, it was really we found the perfect framework to work with. So we're super, super passionate about this framework.
Yeah. My first love is actually Claudia, and then psychosynthesis. But
Career-wise, I'm talking about career-wise. Of
we're
course,
bringing
with my
some
first love.
personality in here. Yeah. No, but
So,
the same, if I may share,
yeah,
the being able to navigate through life with different alternative healing or different meditation practices or different books that have been read, whether it's the Bhagavad Gita, Biography of a Yogi, and it's all these things, and there's so many different places, but being able to step by step by step go through chapter by chapter by chapter and keep unfolding what's next and creating a foundation and building upon it is what we both agree to, that this context really serves well. And it's a consistent, kind of like circling around in where there's times where shadow may come up, and there's times when it's just all God, and it's times where it's just all like time to get some stuff done. And those three different realms of the higher plane, the here and now, and the underworld or the shadow aspect, being able to navigate those spaces with a very simple practice that we can go back in and open up a chapter and reground into what is that chapter that will support me in this time until we no longer have to reference that chapter and it just becomes embodied is what I think psychosynthesis is really, really beautiful at doing.
And we're all about integration, integration with everything, right? And what is integration? It's like, utilizing knowledge, right? The different tools and bringing it into your daily life.
Yep.
Bringing those awarenesses. And now through psychosynthesis, we're actually integrating all those aspects of the self so that they can, instead of fighting each other, which is normally what happens, right? We're constantly fighting with our parts. Instead of fighting, we learn how to integrate them, and then they become part of our team. They actually start working for us instead of against us, which is really kind of the tug and play that usually we experience when these aspects of yourself are unintegrated. So you can take a look in your life and you see, am I fighting with myself and my parts? Right? That you can recognize immediately. Okay, we're going to teach you today how you can actually work with harmoniously so that you stop fighting with yourself.
Yeah, and to add another bookmark, sorry, there's somebody else trying to add another bookmark onto that. Awareness alone is not integration. Awareness alone is awareness. If I have a part of myself, which we'll go through today, that I discover and I don't walk it home and then implement that into my daily life, and I simply just keep acting, I'm aware that I have self-doubt, but I keep self-doubting and self-doubting and self-doubting, and to the point where it's like, it's keeping me, that would be a self-sabotage because I already know that that's a part of me. Welcome, Mike. And, we're just kind of sharing, and we haven't gotten into any experiential stuff, Mike, but like we start to learn how to bring forth the awareness and apply it.
Yes, exactly. So what is transpersonal psychology? Again, just breaking this down so that we're all on the same page. Transpersonal psychology is a branch of psychology that goes beyond your personal, right? And includes spiritual experiences, deeper purpose, and the dimension of the self with a capital S that is beyond the ego, right? It is the bridge between psychological healing and spiritual evolution. And it helps you to integrate your human path with your soul's wisdom. So if any of this is resonating, feel free to type in the chat, right? If any of these kind of hits chords for you on what this powerful work can do, feel free to type it on the chat. So quick poll, okay? And I love to see hands for this. Have you ever procrastinated on something you deeply care about? All right, let me see those hands.
I care about it. It matters, but not yet. I can't really. I don't have time. Circumstance.
Yeah. Have you ever talked yourself out of a dream opportunity? Anybody?
We call that part of ourselves the justifier sometimes. Like, yeah. It's not really.
Yep. Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear of success or failure? Anybody? I'm right there with you. Couple hands. Have you ever felt stuck even when you know what to do?
Yep.
No. Hands and feet, right?
Hands and tootsies.
Have you ever felt like something inside of you was holding you back? right? There's something inside that we cannot name, right? We can't quite put a finger on it, but we know it's there.
A sub question to that one. Have any of you ever called that your intuition? It's holding me back, but it's my intuition's telling me that I shouldn't be doing this. But it's like this justifier, kind of like, I know what to do, but I'm kind of calling this fear, I'm making it intuition because it sounds better. No? Okay,
No.
maybe
You?
maybe that was just me.
That you?
Sorry, I'm
Okay.
projecting all over you guys.
Have you ever felt motivated but still unable to act? Right? I've been there. It's like so frustrated. So if you answer yes to any of these, know that you're not alone. You see, all of us were raising our hands. And so today, we're not here to shame those parts of ourselves, okay? We're here to meet them with radical understanding, radical compassion, and liberation, okay? And we're going to explore why this happens and how to shift it. Okay, so here we go. The truth about self-sabotage. So first of all, what is self-sabotage, right? Self-sabotage is when your thoughts, your emotions, or your behavior unconsciously blocks your own growth, blocks your own goals, right? And your own desires, even when a part of you deeply wants them, right? So you have a part of you that wants them, yet your emotions, your behaviors are unconsciously blocking that. Mm-hmm. So here's the truth about self-sabotage, right? Self-sabotage isn't a flaw, right? It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, okay? And it's important to understand this. It's not laziness. It's not a weakness, right? Self-sabotage is inner conflict. It's actually an outdated form of protection. There are parts of you that form to keep you safe from pain, from fear in the past. Okay, and so today, again, we're gonna bring these parts to light with love. We're gonna listen to them compassionately, and we're gonna help these parts evolve. Now, even the most self-aware, driven people self-sabotage, right? Again, why? Because it's protection, right? It's your inner system trying to keep you safe, even if that means keeping you small. So it's important to name it clearly, right? That is not a weakness. There's nothing wrong with you, right? It's something that it's actually there to protect you. And so it is now time to bring these parts along and to integrate these parts, bring them into harmony. So now we're going to go through the 3 core roots of self-sabotage. Number 1, inner conflict. And in our work with psychosynthesis, we discovered some of these as like the roots. So the first one is inner conflicts, right? Inner conflicts between different parts of yourself. So from the psychosynthesis perspective, we all have subpersonalities, right? Or inner parts. These inner parts have different agendas and also different needs. So for example, you might have the achiever part of you, right? Who wants to accomplish all of your goals. Awesome. But at the same time, you have a protector who fears burnout or failure. I know I have that one.
Yep.
Right? Anybody else? Right? Yep. But at the same time, there's another part of you, the visionary, right? Who's here dreaming up big possibilities. And then you may also have a skeptic who worries about disappointment. What's going to happen if I fail? And so all these parts of you become fragmented, right? Mm-hmm. All these parts of you that aren't integrated, it's what has you take actions that become fragmented, right? Yeah. So it's like, imagine having one foot on the glass and then another foot on the brake. And so that's why you get stuck.
Yeah, I have a few things I'd like to share about that
Yes,
real quick.
please,
So I looked this
in.
up actually, and I was doing some of my own inner, kind of exploration about these different achiever, protector, visionary, skeptic, and there's many, many, many more. And these things, these parts of self that can sometimes be related and actually start to be embodied, like all of a sudden the achiever can be who I think I am, and then identify with the achiever. But then what happens when the achiever is tired? Then I'm no longer, if I'm not achieving, I no longer have self-value. You see what I mean? So there's like this like false part of myself that's taking on who I think I am. And even being able to be the observer thereof of these parts of self shows that we are not them, right? So it can show up like this. Like sometimes there are thoughts that come in, right? The thoughts can be like, who am I to do this? Or something bad's about to happen. Or, is anybody actually going to show up and sign up for my thing that I'm going to do? Can I get all my shareholders or investors or whatever it might be on board with this thing that I want to bring forward? And then we start to have behaviors that follow these thoughts, something like procrastination, conflicts with our schedule can show up, even though I know that I want to go into this deep course and do this thing or meditate or, take care of my body or whatever I need to do to be at peace. All of a sudden I'm overcommitted, or I've got this thing and that thing to show up. And it looks like circumstances, but it's actually a manifestation from the saboteur. That's the one that is sabotaging. And then also things even like getting sick. There's a lot of us on this call right now that have done transformational trainings and different things, and we joke about it off to the side. Somebody's about to come and go, oh, I have this thing and that thing, and my dog just this, and I got sick, and my tire just got a flat. And we think that it's all these things that are outside of ourselves, but it's actually a manifestation of the sabotage to keep us stuck or safe as these different parts. One other thing is, I'll deal with this later, right? Or I don't care, it doesn't matter anyway, when really it's the most important thing that we want to do. And then we start scrolling, we start overusing of things like cannabis and gummies and edibles and whatever. We start overworking. So there's like these different things that happen as a result of the achiever, the protector, the visionary, skeptic that show up as manifestations.
Yep. So in your life, you will be able to see how it shows up for you. These are just suggestions. Each of us have our own unique set of subpersonalities, or what we call our subs. And so, just start to take a look and see which ones may show up for you. Mm-hmm. All right. So now, root number 2. Vulnerability or exposure, right? Fear of vulnerability or exposure.
Who has
This is
that?
specifically for those who have fear of success, fear of failure, right? Success often requires being seen, right? Sharing your gifts, your truth, your work with the world, right? But if your subconscious mind associates visibility with risk, that means fear of judgment, fear of rejection, or even abandonment, right? Parts of you are going to sabotage your progress to help to keep you safe from those risks. So see if that, right, that shows up for you. And a lot of this work it's subconscious. And so there are ways through the framework, there are ways to bring these parts into light. But normally, if you don't know how to access these parts, if you don't know how to connect with your subconscious, you're just always going to be in that repeating pattern and then feel completely stuck. And then core root number 3 is the limiting core beliefs, right? These are the deep-seated beliefs that drive your emotional responses and your behaviors. Beliefs like, I'm not good enough, if I succeed, I'll lose love, or if I fail, I'll be worthless. All those beliefs that live in our subconscious mind, they create the patterns of self-sabotage.
Yeah, and in those patterns, I mentioned this earlier, when there is a choice at one time in our life, in the not too distant past or the very distant past, for different choosing of a job, of a relationship, of a choice to make a financial move or whatever, but if that choice is made from something other than wholeness, there can be, even in the current, right here, right now I'm aware that I have this not good enough part of myself, for instance, or if I succeed, I'm going to lose love, or if I fail, I'll be worthless, any of the things that are on the screen right now. And even though there's an integration of those parts of self, choices that have been made in the past that have current relationship things or things show up can remind us of those times when we chose. We just have to keep going into this work. Does that make sense to everybody? Like if I made a choice from not good enough, that choice can keep showing up for me with whatever that relationship is or choice of job or whatever it is to remind me, crap, even though I've integrated I'm not good enough, there's that thing that I chose from not good enough that still gets to be healed within myself, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And we don't manifest what we want, right? We manifest what we truly believe. So it's all in that subconscious material. So what are some common pain points, right? And Adam spoke about this, before. Procrastination, right? That's one of the main ones that show up. Perfectionism. Who has a perfectionist? Yeah.
Constantly
2 hands.
editing, it's not good enough. Never mind, I'll just put it in the file for
Yep.
later, you know?
Endlessly perfecting, right? Overthinking. Fear of success, as we've talked about, and also fear of failure. So one of the key insights I want you to walk away is that it's not a personal flaw, okay? So first and foremost, right? It's just an internal misalignment between the different parts of you. And when you learn how to listen to these parts with love, everything changes. Now, I'd like to go a little deeper with you, okay? When you procrastinate, when you self-sabotage, and then you make yourself wrong for it, right? Which is what most people do, you create a negative energetic loop.
Vortex.
Okay? A negative vortex.
Yep.
Okay? So you feel bad for not taking action, which then drains your energy and motivation, right? Which makes it even harder for you to do the things that you want to do. Now, here's something super important that I want you to walk away and understand. That change doesn't happen when you're stuck in shame, okay? Change happens when you feel good, when you feel safe and compassionate with yourself. That's when real change happens. And when we talk about change, we talk about this change of behavior. Okay, we're not talking about like sometimes things happen in a negative way that causes us to make changes, right? That's one type, but that's normally short-lived. We're talking about the long term, okay? The long term fuel, the long-term possibility to shift those patterns. And so for that, if you are committed to the long term, then need to understand that you need to guide yourself to feel good. Okay, the beat up doesn't work, right? Because the beat up creates a negative loop. And so what we're trying to do is we are shifting to a positive loop, right? Where you're feeling good about yourself. And we're going to teach you how to do that in just a moment, right? You're going to be grateful. You're going to be taking small steps. You're going to be celebrating progress, okay? Because progress fuels motivation, okay? So it's this momentum, this positive loop that you start creating that starts creating momentum, right? Because the biggest motivator that you have is progress itself. And so in today's class, you're going to learn how to break free from that negative loop.
The pattern.
Right? How many people are in the negative loop? Find yourself in that negative loop of procrastination. Right.
How many people can vulnerably, by a show of hands, say that the self-sabotage or being stuck in that negative loop is safe for you? Does that make sense? It's like, oh, I already know what it's like to be in my shit. Yeah, I'm not sure, right, Mike? Like it's a mind fuck of a question, if you will, because it's like, wait a minute, how can I feel, I'm not, I'm just going to keep procrastinating because I know that as long as I procrastinate, I already know what I have. But once I drop that procrastination or whatever other behavior or pattern is there, then I've got to be something else. And I don't know what that is. That doesn't feel safe. So let me just keep procrastinating. Let me just keep self-judging. Let me just stay in this vortex, comfort, safety zone. Exactly, Tasnova.
Yep.
So it's a very tricky and it's almost subconscious because when I ask the question, it's like, wait a minute, no, I'm not doing that. Why would I be stuck in a negative loop to feel safe? Well, guess what? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it feels that way to our nervous system.
And we're familiar with it. So we'd rather stay in the familiar, right?
Exactly.
Because we know we're going to have to get out of our comfort zones, okay? But again, we're going to just show you how to do it compassionately. So you can walk yourself through the process and stop forcing yourself. So we're going to go a little deeper, right? And I mentioned about subpersonalities. So inside each of us live protective subpersonalities, right? Those inner parts, as I mentioned earlier, that are formed during different moments in your life to keep you safe, to keep you loved, and to keep you accepted. And you may recognize these parts, the perfectionist, right? That believes that if you do things perfectly, you'll finally feel worthy and safe.
People will like me.
Yes.
I'll receive all the things that I want to receive once it's perfect.
Yep, exactly. And then he just keeps on like nonstop, right? Constantly seeking for that, for that validation. The critic, right? That points out your flaws faster than anything else, right? Just again, trying to keep you protected. We have the avoider that distracts, numbs, and procrastinates to protect you from overwhelm, fear of failure, or
present moment.
feeling not good enough.
Yeah.
And then we have the inner child, right? That may hold tender memories of times that it felt unloved, unseen, unsafe. And it often reacts with fear of longing, of comfort. And so again, each of us, we're very unique. We have our own self-personality blueprint. And we can, the good news is that we can discover what these parts are, right? And so you discover that, and this is something very, very important, that these parts of you develop with a purpose, right? The purpose to protect you from the pain, from the disappointment, from the rejection, from the loss. So this is another super important point, is that they're not bad, okay? These parts of you are not broken. They are just simply stuck in old jobs that no longer serve your growth anymore. It's like it's time to evolve them, but they don't know how to do it themselves.
Time to give them a promotion.
Yes, exactly. Time to reassign their jobs. And so now we're going to be able to hold these aspects of you and be able to help them evolve. So we're going to go through an exercise. If you have, you're going to need a journal or a place to write. So
a piece of paper and a pen. Yeah.
You can also use your phone if that's easy.
Take your time, take your time.
And we'll guide you through an exercise where you can meet the part that resists. And we'll just give you guys a moment.
I also want to share, just like the previous slide that was shown, as you're getting your things together, the perfectionist and the critic tend to hang out in the same I like to say they hang out in the same sandbox on the playground. So like if it's not perfect, and the critic will say that it will never be. And it's really their job at some point along the journey to keep me safe because I did something and I was told something other than this thought that I made something perfect, this piece of art or sculpture or music that I played, if I was a musician when I was a child or any of these things, and it wasn't received the way that I wanted it to be received. It was received some other way. It was received like, well, you almost made it, but you didn't quite get there. And so then that perfectionist critic part became a front operating system from that point on. And I wouldn't just allow myself to create because I was afraid of looking dumb or whatever it might be. So that perfectionist critic model is there as my guardian. That's kind of what I wanted to share there in that previous slide.
Okay.
All right,
so
without further ado.
Without further ado, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that feels good for you and safe for you. And return back to that yummy space that Adam guided us at the beginning. Just tuning back in. And I'll invite you to place one hand on your heart. And take a deep breath in and out. And just breathing normally. Ask yourself gently, if I could give a name to the part of me that resists moving forward, what would it be? If you can name that part, and it's okay if the word doesn't come up, just bring that part of you to the light. That part of you that resists change. It keeps you in the comfort zone. And as you're bringing awareness and allowing that part to emerge, what does this part look like? Sound like or feel like? Using all of your senses and your imagination, allow this part to fully emerge. So allowing the part to be, and now ask yourself, ask this part of you, what is it trying to protect me from? What does this part of you have to say? Maybe this part of you has a message for you. Just allow whatever shows up to be there. And know that whatever you receive is exactly what you need. So I'll give you one more breath to connect with this part of you. Find out what may be trying to protect you from. And then in a moment, I'll invite you to gently come back and open your eyes. And invite you to journal what came up for you in this exercise. So take a moment to write down. And know that when you begin to name these parts, they start to soften. And they no longer control you from the shadows. Okay, so we'll give you about just a few more seconds to wrap their journaling up. And the invitation is to hold these parts of you that have come to the light with love. Remember, they are no broken, right? You are no broken. They are no broken. They're just trying to do their job. They're just trying to protect you. So we're going to meet them with radical compassion, radical self-acceptance.
Totally radical compassion.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, everybody ready? Mike, you're ready? Yes. All right.
Well, there's two mics. Mics, you're ready?
Oh, yes. Mike's. That's right. We do have two mics. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. We are ready. Thank you, Michael.
We are ready. That's funny.
We're ready. I just got it. That's so cute. Okay, beautiful. So now, how do we shift? We're going to show you the path to freedom.
Path to freedom?
The path to freedom.
Come on.
Now, here's, again, another big insight I want you to walk away with, right? Forcing yourself doesn't work, okay? The path is not about forcing yourself to push harder. How many of you have tried that? Pushing yourself. Okay. Right? If that worked, it would have worked by now.
I saw
right?
half a hand from somebody I know who's forced a lot. I'm like, come on, get those hands up. Oh, wait, that was me.
Yeah, if that worked, we wouldn't be here teaching a class and learning how to do it, right? And so integration is key, right? The path of freedom begins with integration. And so what does integration mean in this context? It means bringing your subpersonalities, your subs, right? Your higher self, your goals, and your fears into relationship with each other, okay? So that they can start to work together rather than against each other, okay? And this is a cycle that, again, most people get stuck at. We're in the negative loop, change is not happening, and then we're forcing ourselves into, change, and it just doesn't work. So we're gonna share with you a simple yet powerful formula that you can use and not to remember how to move through and get yourself from the awareness of the procrastination into the new action.
Or any of the self-sabotage,
Any
not
of
just the
the
procrastination.
yes, the procrastination is just an example, right? But any of the ways in that self-sabotage may show up for you. So we're going to break it down for you. The first step is awareness, right? You cannot change what you are not aware of. And now, what does awareness means? It means noticing the moments when you're procrastinating, right? When you're procrastinating, when you're avoiding, when you
judging, when you're in victim mode, anything that is like the awareness of any of these functions, these parts of self that are at play.
Yep. Anytime you find yourself distracting, right? And all the different things. So the first step, you're gonna obviously become aware of that now that you know that it's a part of you.
Yeah.
So become aware of that part of you.
Or one big one too, if I may, be aware of the one who breaks their word to themselves. I say this is what matters to me, these are my principles, and I keep choosing something else. Am I aware of that? Now I'm aware, okay, I keep breaking my word.
Yep.
And that's it, I'm aware. That's all we got to do in that particular step.
Yep. And so what do? Instead of going into reaction and judgment or frustration, right?
The loop.
That we know, the loop, the negative loop, we're simply going to pause and we're going to name it, right? That's the key. I see, for example, I see that I'm avoiding this task right now, right? Just bring that to the awareness. Don't let it just be in the subconscious mind. I notice that I am avoiding right now.
Yeah.
right?
I notice that I'm overspending instead of saving. I notice that I'm arguing instead of choosing peace. I notice that I'm
Yep.
eating something instead of
Yep.
choosing what's good for me. All of these things, aka cognitive dissonance, doing the same thing over and over, even though we know it's causing harm to ourselves.
Yep, exactly. I notice tension in my chest, for example, when I think about taking this step. So this is an invitation to be super tuned in to yourself and your energy, right? And then you, okay, just name whatever's there authentic for you, right? So that's the second step. And then, the first step, sorry. The first step. And then the second step is compassion, right? Once you become aware of what's going on, then you bring compassion in. And this is, and I've talked about it, right? This is where most people get stuck because they go right into self-criticism, right? What's wrong with me? I'm so lazy. Here I go again. I just can't get my stuff together, right? We know that path.
I got to figure out
It's
on
not
my
going to
own.
help you.
Nobody's going to, all the things,
Yes.
all the chatter.
So criticism keeps you stuck. Another key thing. Criticism keeps you stuck. Compassion frees you. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do. We want to break free. We want to release this energy. Okay, so you're going to respond with kindness, with curiosity, with understanding, with this part of you that you now know it's just keeping you safe, right? It's just here to protect you. And so you can say to yourself, for example, once you have named that aspect of you, I see you, part of me that's scared. Thank you for trying to protect me. So acknowledge that for that part, right? I understand that you are feeling overwhelmed right now, and that's okay. So it's important to validate whatever that part of you is experiencing. It's valid, right? It's gone through many experiences in the past, right, to create that. So speak to it with compassion and awareness and understanding and curiosity. So once you've brought compassion into the part of you, not self-criticism, and this may take a bit, to be able to take those new steps and create those new neural pathways. Then you move into choice, right? With awareness and compassion comes the power of choice. So when you're no longer reacting unconsciously, right, and doing these tasks without bringing the awareness, or you're no longer shaming yourself for those parts, you can ask yourself, okay, why do I choose right now? What would support me to take the next small step? For example, right? How do I want to show up for myself today? So you can inquire about a new action now that you have that awareness. And then once you inquire about the new action, and again, we remembering that progress fuels motivation, right? So be cognizant, be aware of of just choosing that small step that you can take in that moment, right? So that you can create a positive reinforcement loop. And then take the action, right? And again, doesn't have to be a massive action, right? In fact, small micro commitments build the most momentum because they are achievable and they help to build trust with yourself. So small micro commitments is the key in those moments.
And we're always choosing, we're always choosing and we're always taking action. But with the awareness and the compassion part, we can become aware of which part of us we're choosing from and which part of us we're taking action from. So with the awareness, if I have awareness that there's a procrastinator on board and that procrastinator is doing what it does, and oh, it's Sunday afternoon, it's a rainy day, I'm just I'll do that on Monday, whatever that might be, right? Even though it really, really matters to me. So that procrastination part of myself mixes up with all the other times that I procrastinated. And even though I'm justifying that it's a Sunday afternoon and it's rainy and everybody's just chilling, or it's a holiday weekend, even though there's something that I know that really matters to me that wants to go out, that procrastination still has with it a little bit of a frequency of just the word procrastination, right? And then the critic comes on board, and then there's that negative self spiral. So when we can become aware and then become compassionate, we're choosing not from the procrastination, we're choosing from, oh, hello, procrastinator, choosing from love. We're choosing from, okay, maybe I don't need to take on the entire project today because it's a rainy Sunday afternoon. Maybe I can just journal or write down the bullet points that I need to do tomorrow, or send out an email or put a calendar link on. And I just took that micro commitment to open up a positive loop of I actually did something. And then it comes over a period of time where the other guy that comes in is like, oh, I need to work even harder. One micro commitment isn't quite going to get me there because it's still, you know what I mean? There's that other sub that comes in. But even with that, like, no, okay, then maybe I'll take two micro commitments, and now I feel like I'm creating a positive loop. But my point of that is that we're always choosing from something that's operating, and we're always taking action. So I can choose to keep making choices and taking actions from the one that's sabotaging, or I can pause, be aware of it, bring compassion, ask it what it needs, and then make a new choice. And this is in every breath of every day.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, baby. And so, feel free to take a screenshot of this slide so that you can have the formula for you whenever,
Magic formula of
whenever
freedom.
that shows up for you. And those, micro commitments can look like, for example, instead of I have to meditate for an hour today,
Right.
instead you
Yeah, that's a
said,
good one.
I will take 3 conscious breaths right now. Or I need to write a whole chapter. You can say, I will write for 10 minutes.
Or I'll write an outline. Yeah, that's what I mean by the micro commitments. It doesn't have to be this climb the entire mountain. It's just
Yes, just
one
that
step up the mountain, right?
the next step that is very accessible, because we want to build trust, okay? Especially if you have a whole life dealing with this, you want to build trust and you want to make it achievable. And so when you follow the steps, awareness, compassion, choice, and new action, you break the cycle of self-sabotage, right? Because you're bringing it to the light. You're giving yourself the opportunity to be with that part. And when the integration happens, the beautiful thing about integration is that you'll notice that part of you, it's almost like every time you bring it to the light, it kind of loosens, it softens up. So it starts to dissipate, right? It starts to be integrated. And then the goal is to have it fully integrated where all of a sudden you're in action. You are not stuck anymore. So we're going to show you 3 practical tools that you can do. And again, feel free to take a picture or a screenshot of this when you are, again, faced with those parts of you. So you begin with awareness journaling, right? When you notice yourself procrastinating, you can pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Which part of me is activated? And then have an inner dialogue. I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. It is safe to grow now. And then the last step, as we've talked about, the micro commitments. Small wins build momentum and confidence. As an example, today I commit to taking 3 conscious breaths.
Today I commit to choosing love whenever I feel stress. Today I commit to drinking more water. Any little thing. And that I mentioned it earlier, that being in our word to ourselves and staying true to the commitments that matter in order to move our vision and our life forward. There is no higher drug on the planet. I've shared this with so many people, and I remind myself of it all the time, than staying in my commitment and staying in the word to my word to myself. And also, it's a slippery slope because I've got this part of myself at full vulnerability that wants to create in these massive visions. And if I don't get there, why even start? So it's like, what are the small steps that can be taken to create the sense of accomplishment and that positive momentum moving forward? As simple as drinking 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 glasses of water, whatever that might be. And it's so simple to get lost in all of the different doingness and all the different distractions and all the things. And it's really all of that, that distractions is also a self-sabotage. So it's like
Yeah.
each one of those times that I'm choosing what is true to myself, I'm staying in my word to myself, everything that I want opens up right in front of me.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And so what is key insight of the last point is don't overcome self-sabotage. You don't overcome self-sabotage by forcing yourself. As I mentioned earlier in the class, you free yourself by leading yourself with love. You free yourself by leading yourself with love. And you can again also take a screenshot of this if to keep it as a reminder. So it's time to stop fighting and start leading yourself with love. And guiding those aspects of you with compassion and radical understanding. That's when change, that's when those parts feel safe. You yourself feel safe to be able to change, to receive something new, a new way. And so in a moment, we'll open up for questions. We'd love to hear about this process. We'll have some shares about what opened up for you so we can have a little conversation about your parts. And yeah, we'll have an active conversation. And then now we would love to share with you how you can go deeper with us in this work. We're super, super excited to present to you The Alchemy of Self. Now, if today's session resonated with you, just imagine what's possible when you have a complete guided framework, right? A container, a 13-month container, and compassionate mentorship to guide you through the journey of integration, healing, and soul embodiment. Now, something that I am personally very passionate about is the integration and the embodiment. So when we were tuning into the length of our program, we really want to be able to offer integration, like not just receiving the knowledge, maybe learning a few tools, but actually being able to embody the work, right? Give yourself the time to integrate these aspects, because there's many aspects of ourselves, many different subpersonalities, and that takes time. And so we're super honored to have been launching. This is our second cohort, actually. And it's been an incredible journey of deep transformation, deep healing. And this is our signature program that's rooted in psychosynthesis and transpersonal psychology. We offer an opening retreat at our beautiful Villa Sol Retreat Sanctuary here in Florida, South Florida. And we frame our 13-month journey with an opening retreat, in-person retreat, and then a closing retreat and celebration. And so here are some of the participants that actually are in our first program, and this is why they're sharing. We have sister here, Regina, sharing this program is hands down life-changing. You'll walk away knowing yourself better. Because of that, you'll have more confidence to move in the world with less anxiety, more peace, and more clarity. Don't overthink it, just say yes, and you will never regret what you did. Thank you, Sister Regina. It's been really an amazing experience. I'm guiding the souls through that transformation.
Yeah, and you want me to read this one? I get to use my voice. All right. Since starting the program, I am more confident in the direction I'm heading personally and able to have better interactions with those around me. I would absolutely recommend this program as it has helped me in my personal transformation in so many ways. If you're feeling like you are missing something to bring yourself to who you are supposed to be, please look into this program. I hope it helps you as much as it helped me. Thank you, Brother Sean, for your share. Yeah, these are Some of
Yes.
these folks, including Sean, are brand new to this type of work, and so the transformation was even more vast than I think he even anticipated. And it's still going. We're about halfway through that first
Yes,
program,
halfway
and
through.
some participants are actually on the call right now. And we thank you for being here along the journey
Yep,
with
and
us.
when we open up, we'll love to hear if anybody wants to share also from your experience of the program. And it really is designed to help you to become whole. And there is no price, there is no, I believe, for a human being that finally be able to stop feeling at war with itself within, right, with all these different parts, and finally be able to experience freedom, experience clarity, experience power. And so this is our gift to the world. If any of you are interested or if any of the work resonates, I'm going to just drop the link. We're invited to apply. And once you apply, it takes about 15 minutes for the application. Then you'll hop on a call with us and we can discover if this program will
We
be
can
in
go
alignment
deeper
for
with some
you.
of the kind of like get in the weeds a little bit on some of the details. You wanna-
Yep. And so to close, I'm gonna guide you through a meditation just to kind of bring the work that we've done together. And then we're gonna open up for Q&A, for sharing, and we'd love to hear more about what has opened up for you. Okay, so go ahead and again, this is our last guided closing meditation. This is an integration of the work. So closing your eyes, bringing your awareness within.
One last time.
One last time. Now I'd like you to imagine a future version of you, the one that has moved beyond the old patterns of self-doubt, fear, and procrastination. And I want you to see this future self clearly. And now see this future self walking forward with clarity, with confidence, and with love. And I feel all your inner parts, the critic, the avoider, the perfectionist, the scared inner child. And you see all those parts of you walking alongside you. And you notice they are no longer fighting you. They're cheering you on. They are walking beside you harmoniously. So repeat silently after me. I am safe to grow. I lead myself with love. And every part of me is working toward wholeness. And take a deep breath in and exhale out and feel this truth settle into your body. Feeling all of your body receiving this vision and seeing it through. And know that you carry this feeling of wholeness within you. And you can tune back into this feeling of wholeness at any time. And then on your next breath, whenever you feel ready, you may gently and slowly open your eyes and come right back. At your own pace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
you.
And thank you everyone again for being here. You're all amazing. Stay
Mucho
connected with
besitos.
us. And I hope to see you implementing
Yeah,
the
we'll see you on the
tools.
next masterclass.
Yes,
if
we'll
not
see you
before
on the
then.
next masterclass.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much. We love you. Enjoy your Sunday.